Here are all of your burning questions answered. Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome back to my channel. This is my first ever YouTube Q&A. Honestly, I haven't done a Q&A or an Ask Me Anything on my other platforms. So yeah, y'all are lucky. Got about 20 questions from here, Instagram stories, and TikTok comments. So thank you if you asked a question. If you have any new additional questions, put those in the comments so I could save those for the Q2 Q&A. I think I'm going to do these Q&As every quarter. All right, let's get started. So this first question was the only beauty related question, and I get it. I'm not offended, okay? You know, this is a beauty account, but it's not a beauty account, okay? You shouldn't be coming to me for beauty anyway. But someone asked, what is the lip gloss you wear in every video? And I'm glad you pointed out in every video, because I literally wear the same lip gloss in every video. It is the Ami Collet Black woman-owned beauty brand hydrating lip treatment oil in the color Bliss. So the pinkish one. I've been wearing this for years, okay? Every video, like you said. Okay, this is my go-to lip gloss. Ami Collet has other colors, but it's Bliss for me. I love the pinky in it. And you can get this directly from the Ami Collet website, or you can get it at Sephora. So the next set of questions are about books, which I totally get. My book content seems to be performing the best on YouTube. You know, I've been paying attention to the analytics and stuff. Anyways, how do you prioritize the books you read in a month? Good question, because I do read, quote, a lot. Reading is not a competition. It's not a race, okay? If you read one book a month, you are reading, and that is something you should be proud of. But I do read an amount that is shocking to a lot of people. I'm reading about like 20 to 25 books every month. So how do I prioritize my reading? I would say it's kind of like 3 categories are like my top priorities. First one, books I have to read. So obligatory reads, whether I'm interviewing an author virtually or in person, if I'm doing a campaign. Those are books I have to read in preparation for those things. Next category is audiobooks. I am more likely and more inclined to read a book if the audiobook is available. I live a very busy life. I prefer audiobooks. So if a book is an audio, that moves up in my TBR because I have more time to listen to books than I do to read ebooks and physical books. And then third, I am very much a Toy Story head ass. I am more inclined to read a new release or an upcoming release because I'm that type of person. It's very much giving new shiny thing, Buzz Lightyear, a million other books on my TBR. But baby, if there's a new release and everyone's talking about it, I want to be in that number. Next question. How do you keep all the stories together in your mind? Honestly, a miracle. It's a miracle. I generally remember like the major plot points of everything I read. You know, the more recent the read, the more I remember as time goes by. You know, I might forget a little, but baby, if I look at the cover, if I look at the synopsis, it will trigger, you know, the characters, the plot, the tropes, etc. What erotica books do you recommend? So I'm not going to answer with specific titles. I'm just going to list out authors who write erotica that I've really enjoyed, right? So this is an opportunity to dig through their catalogs. T.M. Richardson, Endiya Carter, Endiya T. Norfleet, Aria Daze, Elle Kayson, Neck Mills, A.H. Cunningham, Authoress masterpiece. Those are good starting places. What is a book genre that you want to explore more of? I really want to get into like fantasy. I am missing out. Y'all are enjoying all the fantasy, the Legendborn, the Bloodmarked, the Oathbound. Baby, I just haven't gotten into fantasy. And I think this stems from childhood. Like, I had no interest in Harry Potter, never read Harry Potter, never watched them movies, don't know whose rings are of the Lord's. I know nothing. But y'all seem to have a great time with fantasy, and I want to see what it's about. And I think I'm inching slowly towards it because I am really into paranormal romance, and I feel like From paranormal romance, I'll get into romantasy, and then I'll get into fantasy. Like I think I'm taking baby steps. What is your least favorite trope when reading romance or any other genre? I think for me, anything around babies, pregnancy, like why does everyone have to be pregnant? Why is parenthood the goal, the aspiration of most of the couples I read in romance? I don't know if it's because I'm child free by choice or I just want to read more stories where, the women have aspirations outside of that. There's different aspirations in life, but y'all love to throw in an accidental pregnancy, a secret baby, an epilogue baby. And I also can't wrap my mind around it because with a few exceptions, there are no such things as accidents. Okay, you're either planning to prevent or you're planning to conceive. How does your book club choose which books to read? Do you all have a rotation? So I've been in the same book club for a decade called Frozen Prose. We're an in-person book club here in DC. Millennial age Black women. We read Black authors. We just have conversations. Like our book selection process is very informal. When it's time to like batch select, we do like to select like 6 books at a time. So it gives people adequate time to prepare and do what they need to do to acquire the book, to read the book. We just have conversations. We're like, what y'all want to read? And people make suggestions. They're like, oh, I heard good things about this. One of our past favorite authors has a new release. Like we just bring up titles and the books that have the most interest are added to the calendar. And the question, do you have a rotation? I think you mean that about hosting. So we don't have a formal rotation. It is not mandatory to host a meeting at your home in Frozen Prose. So people just volunteer. It'd be like, oh, I could host at my house. If no one wants to volunteer for that meeting, we go to brunch at a restaurant. I do think putting in place a formal rotation, though, is helpful for those who feel like you need to kind of divide the management of the book club more equitably. If you really want to divvy up that labor and make it feel that everyone, is putting in the same amount of work effort, then, have a rotation. What are some book club pros and cons? The 2 pros, you're reading regularly. If anything else fails, you are reading the book for your book club. If life gets crazy, at least you're reading the book that your book club is reading. And the community, you cannot beat it. I've known these women for a decade, more than a decade. Those women are my sisters. Every meeting is a great time. It's restorative. It's filling. We have great conversations. It's the community. The cons are really based on kind of like your book club's leadership management. I'm not complaining at all because I love leading my book club. But, if leadership is more centralized, if it's one person in charge, one person moderating the meetings, that all falls on that person. So for some people, they don't want to take that on. I would say another con is not everyone being equally dedicated all the time. Like we have seasons where, people aren't showing up, last minute cancellations, people aren't reading the book. So yeah, the dedication and the commitment ebbing and flowing. And, people have to live their lives. So all you can focus on is who shows up and who's ready to discuss. So the next set of questions are about career. So I think I'm going to share what I do for a living. And then I'm just going to share like my education and career journey. I think doing those 2 things are answering all the questions about what I do, how did I get into the current role that I am, what did I study in school, etc. By day, my day job, because this is also a job, because the IRS says so, and baby, this is full-time work. I will never call myself a part-time creator. This is full-time work. Okay. But my day job, my 9 to 5, I am a chief digital officer at a public affairs firm, at a lobbying firm, and I oversee all of the social media and digital media work for the firm, but also for our clients. My work is not sexy. It's not glamorous. When you think of like social media, you think of like the glamour. You think the influencer marketing managers? No. Okay. I'm working with tech, aerospace, agriculture, advocacy organizations, energy, infrastructure, water. Okay. The big unsexy stuff. And then, yeah, let's just talk about my career journey, because I think that will kind of sum up my path. So I am first generation Haitian American, and I'm starting this story like this because when you are an immigrant child, when you are first generation American, there are only really 4 or 5 career paths that are acceptable for your elders. Okay, that is medicine, that is law, engineering, nursing. If you don't want to be one of those 4 things, baby, you better get ready to fight for your life, okay? So I grew up most of my childhood wanting to be a lawyer. I knew I could not do science. I could not do STEM. I said, let me be a lawyer. My parents moved me and my brother to Florida in 2005. I am 15 years old, so I finished junior and senior year in a private school in Central Florida. Big culture shock, only Black girl in the school. My guidance counselor, who happened to be like Chinese Jamaican, she suggested that I apply for this accounting camp for Black high schoolers at the University of South Florida, so USF, Tampa, Florida. And she's like, I know you haven't expressed interest in accounting, but this is a program for Black students. It's like a week-long program. I think this would be great for you to be with students who look like you, because I know you've been going through hell at this all-white private school. So I apply, I go, I have a great time. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can major in accounting, right? I don't have an undergrad major really figured out. I don't know what I want to do in undergrad, because most schools do not have pre-law as a major. So like, I still need a major. I'm like, oh, this accounting camp was cool, knowing I can't count, but I'm like, oh, accounting is cool. And it's something I could do before I go to law school. So I end up going to the University of Florida. That was the only school in the state of Florida I applied to. I had every intention of going back to New York for undergrad. Okay, I applied to Fordham and St. John's and NYU and Columbia and Pace and SUNY Albany. Okay, I had every plan to go back to New York, to be with my people, to be with my then high school boyfriend. I was not trying to be in Florida, but I did go to a prospective students weekend for Black high schoolers the summer before my senior year of high school at UF, and I fell in love. And between Florida Bright Futures and undergrad essentially being free, I'm like, let me go to this big state school. Let me go to one of the public Ivies for free. So first month into college, I'm an accounting major, right? I am taking statistics 1, macroeconomics. Baby, absolutely not. Baby, I was failing. Okay. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I cannot do this. I cannot do 4 years of this. And my best friend of 17 years now, I only knew the girl for a month back then, but Shannon suggested, girl, why don't you try public relations? I think you'd like public relations. And I'm like, girl, I don't even know what that is. I had no exposure to that growing up, right? Because you can only be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a nurse. I don't know what you're talking about, but I go over to the College of Journalism and Communications. I talk to someone for like 30 minutes and I'm like, I'm going to major in public relations. So a month into college, I'm like, I'm going to do PR. Right? I'm going to get these C's in macroeconomics and statistics 1, but I'm going to be a PR major. And while I'm studying PR, I think of the brilliant idea of taking on a second major, because I took AP classes and I did dual enrollment in high school. So like I had community college credits and then I had credits from AP courses and exams. So I had like 30 credits going into college. Between these 30 credits, and if you take classes every summer, you can get a second major. Why not? So across the street from the College of Journalism and Communications was the College of Human and Health Performance, and they had a tourism, recreation, event management program. So I'm like, I'm going to get my second bachelor's degree in recreation, parks, and tourism with a specialization in event management. I'm going to be a PR girly, and I'm going to plan events. And as time goes by, I'm like, I don't want to go to law school at all. I don't want to do that at all. Parents were like, what the actual fuck? This is not how we raised you. Not you wasting all of our money sending you to private school, giving you the best life, and you're talking about you don't want to be a lawyer no more. And I'm like, I don't want to be a lawyer no more. And again, I had no exposure to PR. I did not know event planning could be like a job, and neither did they. Like, my mom has been a nurse for like 40 years, and my dad got his bachelor's degree in industrial engineering. Like, they don't know anything about public relations. What is that? It took a lot for them to come around. I think the secret to them coming around has been showing them that I could be an adult and take care of myself and pay my own bills. I own my own home. I could pay my mortgage. I live a fabulous life. I get to shop and eat out and travel, all with this PR degree, all with this recreation, parks, and tourism degree. And I think another thing that helped was showing them examples of like how you can translate a communications degree into like the real world. So I'm like, Olivia Pope probably had a PR degree. I'm like, this spokesperson for this person going through a crisis, they probably have a PR degree. So yeah, I graduated in 4 years with 2 bachelor's degrees. However, I was not on my Zoom about securing internships and a job out of college, right? And you know, the recession did hit in 2008, right? I lived through that. I was an adult, a young adult in college through that, but I did not do what I needed to do to have a job ready for me after undergrad. Anyways, in late 2010, I decided to apply for Teach for America. UF is a big feeder school for Teach for America. They do a lot of recruiting at the University of Florida. It's an AmeriCorps program that places students fresh out of college into underserved schools. So we're talking about school districts where the majority of students qualify for free or reduced lunch. There are huge educational equity gaps, right? We're talking about, you know, these young Black and brown boys and girls starting school at the ages 3, 4, and they already know thousands of less words than their white counterparts, right? So I apply for Teach for America. I get into Teach for America. I get into my first choice for region, got to rank 3 regions for your preferences. My first choice was DC. I graduated on April 30th in 2011. Baby, I was going to Philadelphia for TFA training in June. And then I made it to the DMV on July 31st, 2011. I do my 2-year commitment with Teach for America. I teach early childhood education. It is also required that you get your master's in education during that 2-year commitment. So I'm teaching during the day and I'm taking night courses with my cohort at George Mason University. So I graduate with my master's in education and curriculum and instruction in 2013. At the end of my commitment in 2013, I'm like, I don't want to teach. I like children. I love children. Our children are the future. However, I do not like education as a system, as an institution, right? Shout out to the teachers. Y'all are our actual strongest soldiers. So after TFA, 2013, no job. I find an unpaid internship at a small PR firm in Montgomery County, and I work my way up. I worked there for a couple of years. I decide that it's time to leave because y'all are severely underpaying me. I'm living paycheck to like the week before paycheck. And it's hourly, no benefits, no nothing. I'm like, I have to leave. I find a job at a public affairs firm. That role is strictly social digital media. And I'm like, well, I do have a PR degree and I am coming from a PR firm, but best and believe at that time, social media was the PR person's job. Okay. And in undergrad, when I graduated in undergrad in 2011, social media was not part of the coursework. It was not in the curriculum. Okay. It was not in our textbooks. Okay. By the time I graduated from UF in 2011, we just started talking about, ooh, how can we use Facebook and Twitter for business? Like, there was no formalized education training around social media when I graduated from undergrad. So all of my social media experience until that point when I get this new job is learned on the job. But yeah, I get hired for this social media digital role and I just work my way up. And now I am a CDO. The end. I just answered like 6 questions by sharing my educational career journey. Literally, the next 4 questions are about how do I achieve work-life balance? You seem very productive. You seem very busy. How do you balance a day job with this job? How do you have 2 full-time jobs? Baby, I don't have the answer for you because work-life balance is something I am very much struggling with right now. I don't have the answer. There is no work-life balance. I'm recording this video at 12:30 a.m. on a Saturday or Sunday, okay? And my goal is to record this, edit it, and get it up on YouTube by 7 a.m. so y'all could watch it. And if y'all didn't notice, I did not post last week, okay? I burned out last week. I had a mentee B last week, and I decided to relieve myself of the pressure of posting as I normally do this past week. And this weekend, I'm playing catch up, okay? There is no work-life balance. There is no time for anything else. My friendships are suffering. I don't think I'm ever going to find a man. Because what time? My health is in shambles. I am not sleeping. And I'm laughing, but that's the real. It looks like I have it together. But baby, when I'm not working my day job, I'm working this job. I work this job more than I do my day job. I think especially in the last 3-ish months with the TikTok ban and being a part of that lawsuit, that one took everything out of me. Being a part of that lawsuit, being one of 8 TikTok creators, essentially feeling tasked with saving the app. Okay, and we lost. With the TikTok ban, it just really had me shook about the future of my career as a content creator. It really had me thinking about, girl, how are you going to pivot? If they take this app away, if this app changes, if they continue to suppress content like yours, what else? So in trying to pivot and trying to expand and trying to broaden my revenue streams, I've been producing more now than ever, okay? A typical posting week for me, I'm posting every day to TikTok. I go live twice a week, Talia Talk Tuesdays and Talia's Book Nook. I publish a newsletter every Monday. I publish a monthly event guide with 200, 300 plus DMV events and things to do every first of the month. I am updating that event guide weekly. I'm trying to post to Reels 3 to 4 times a week. I'm active on Threads. I'm trying to post to YouTube every Sunday and Wednesday. Okay, I'm producing a television show recap podcast with maybe 2 to 3 episodes every week, depending on what shows I'm recapping at the time. I'm trying to find more ways to make paid membership on Substack more valuable to subscribers. I'm trying to find new ways to make their $7 worth. I'm being asked and invited to host and moderate author talks in person and online. What time is there for anything else? Is slowing down an option? It doesn't feel like an option. If I want to continue to grow as a content creator, if I have a certain goal in mind, if this is something that I would love to do full time, I cannot slow down. So it's been very hard. So it looks easy. It looks like I got it together. I'm that girl. But as far as work-life balance, it's non-existent right now. And that's the honest to God truth. Last 2 questions or 3 questions. Would you ever consider relocating? So I'm currently in the DC metropolitan area. I don't see myself leaving the DMV. I really don't. I came here sight unseen right after undergrad in 2011. I fell in love instantly. I love being here. I love being somewhere where there's a high concentration of people who look, live like me. I love that I'm on the East Coast. It's a major city, but it's not too major. It doesn't have that many major city problems. It's not that old, that dirty, that unfriendly. I think the only thing that would take me from the DMV is a husband. And even then, he can only take me so many places. But I do think as I get older and as everyone around me is settling down and getting married and starting their families, I think I would be more comfortable leaving the area if I had to, because my partner had to. What are some Black vegan restaurants in DC? That's a very specific question. Baby, I'm not even a vegan, but I do know Black-owned business. But I don't know Black-owned vegan restaurants as well as I think I should, and that's a shame. So in the caption, in the description of this video, I have a link to a blog I stumbled upon with a full list of vegan restaurants in the area. But off top, you definitely have Turning Natural. I think Sankofa is all vegan. New Vegan Cafe. And overall, DC is a very vegan-friendly city. Like, there is no restaurant I go to where there isn't sufficient vegan options. There's entire restaurants that are completely vegan. So being a vegan in DC is not hard. And then the last question was about my home buying journey. The user wanted to know how meticulous, how thorough were you in like researching about the home buying process? I regret to inform you, baby, I was very much tell me what to do, tell me where to sign. Like, I did not feel like I needed to have like all of this research, do all of this education. It was 2020. Interest rates were practically nothing. My interest rate on this house is 2.75. I bought it in 2020. Baby, I ain't coming off this house. All I was concerned with was taking advantage of the market and the interest rates. Home ownership is very important to my parents. They feel like everything they have in this life is because of home ownership. So home ownership is something that I could not do, right? And they're like, it's 2020, let's go. Let's go. When are you gonna buy a house? We have this money ready for you. You have savings. You've been working on your credit. Let's go. Okay? I wasn't really too interested in knowing every little detail. I put a lot of trust in my realtor, right? They put me in touch with a mortgage lender and a inspector and a whatever. And I'm just like, okay, let's make it to closing. Where do I sign? And as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm knowledgeable, I'm not in some like predatory adjustable rate mortgage loan. So I'm okay. Okay. So yeah, I just trusted my realtor, and whatever suggestions were made, I was like, okay, what's next? What's next? And between finding this house, which was number 10 on my search, and closing, 35 days. So yeah, that's it for my Q1 Q&A. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, if you have any questions, put those in the comments and I will capture those in the Q2 Q&A. Bye.